To be a home addition to bring a mother and daughter closer, but tens of thousands of dollars later, it has turned into a nightmare after the man paid to do the job stopped showing up.
Oh no, well, News 4 Tucson's investigators, they went looking for answers. Chorus Nylander has more in tonight's News 4 Tucson investigation.
Ann Brooks lives in 3 Points. She was trying to get her elderly mother in Mesa to move in with her, but she needed extra space. A realtor recommended a local contractor, so she trusted them, but soon realized that the work wasn't being done after spending most of her life savings.
So this was supposed to be her living and dining area.
Ann Brooks has been dealing with perhaps the worst struggle of her entire life after what was supposed to be a happy home improvement project to bring her mother closer to her. All this progress, you see, was done by her husband and a few friends, even though they spent more than $50,000 to someone they thought was a professional contractor.
Hired someone named Marco Tena.
This was when Ann spoke to the News 4 Tucson investigators back in August.
Everything started off well. You know, we got our septic done after about a month and a half. And then we got this much of the house done after $53,000 was paid.
She said they hired Marco Tena all the way back in February. After hiring him, they learned he did not have a license with the ROC, which is legally required to do this sort of work in Arizona. She said after 3 months, they learned the permits were never paid for. She questioned Tena.
Excuse after excuse again. And then he's, the next week, same thing, more excuses. And then finally, he just said, I don't have the money. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have the money?
She made a report with the Pima County Sheriff's Office and called the News 4 Tucson investigators. We got a hold of Tena over the phone. He told us he intended to finish the project but was sick with COVID. When we asked him about not having a license, he hung up the phone. A few days later, Ann said he showed up to her house and did minimal work. For that reason, though, the sheriff's office closed its investigation. But Ann says he has never returned since.
He hasn't come back on the property since August.
Over time, it ended up giving him a total of $4,300 to buy materials.
Ann isn't alone. Jennifer Curiel, who also lives in 3 Points, says she hired Marco Tena 2 years ago to fix their roof after a storm.
Kept giving excuses and never fully completed the work.
She said what was supposed to take a week dragged on for months, and Tena's team ended up damaging other parts of her home.
His workers backed up the truck and knocked down the gate. Inside the house, they fell through and caused holes inside the roof, the ceiling, which weren't there. He never fixed that.
But for Ann, things got even worse. After all this effort, her mother passed away a couple weeks ago. She believes the stress of all this weakened her.
Marco not only screwed us out of money, he screwed me out of time with my mother.
Ann says she was originally told this addition to her home would have been completed in May. Her husband and the group of friends still plan to finish it. Ann wants to make sure others don't fall victim to something like this. She encourages people to research and make sure somebody's licensed before giving them money to do this sort of work. You can do that on the ROC website. We have a link for you over on our website, KVOA.com. Investigating for you, Chorus Nylander, News 4 Tucson.